ॐ साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वप्रचोदयात्। ॐ साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वप्रचोदयात्। ॐ साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वप्रचोदयात्। ॐ शांति शांति शांतिः। साईराम।
Sairam to all of you, and let us wish all of the devotees a happy Navaratri from today. And it's a very auspicious occasion that today is the 12th satsang program of Sai Sparshan with the final session of the Bhagavad Gita is being planned today. And it's a very happy occasion that it is coinciding with the starting of the Navaratri celebrations also. And a few words about Navaratri celebrations, and then little something about Durga Saptashati, and then we will start with the remaining summary of the chapters of Bhagavad Gita. This particular Masa is called the Ashvavija, Nija Shuddha Ashvavija Masa, and we are in the Sharvari Nama Samvatsara, and this is the Pratama Tithi, that is starting of the Navaratri celebration. And today is the Shanivaram. It's also called Sthiravaram, and attributed to the devotion of Sri Shanishwara, Hanumanta, and also Sri Lord Venkateshwara. And the Navaratri, as the name Nava indicates, it's the 9, and it is the festival of 9 nights. And why it is 9 nights? Whereas all other festivals are in the morning, and only through, that is only Navaratri and the Shivratri. They are the festivals conducted through the nights. And because they are also called the Kalaratri time, where these 9 nights are haunted and monitored and monopolized by the devil activities. Previously, we used to call them Rakshasa. Nowadays, more than Rakshasa, the Rakshasi Pravrutti, or the Rakshasi nature, which we will be discussing in the Bhagavad Gita, future chapters, that Rakshasi type of thing, Rakshasi type of the mind, and that is what is to be killed and controlled. And these 9 nights are, that's why, utilized for that and attributed to that. And night means what? Night is generally dark. People are generally afraid in the night. People say in the night, don't go out, don't do this, don't do that. Whereas the day is fully blessed by sun, the God sun, and sun's power, sun's energy, and sun's light. And therefore, night is also indicative of what we call the ignorance of our mind and the dark aspects. And the Navaratri is attributed to the worship of 3 deities of Shakti. It's like trinity of Shri Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara. Similarly, among the deities, the Shakti deities, one is the Kali, another is the Lakshmi, and another is the Saraswati. And out of this, the Saraswati Devi, she represents the Sattvic attributes, and she is in charge of the education and mind and control of all the spiritual activities. The second goddess, the Lakshmi, she is the goddess with the Rajas attributes. The Rajas attribute is the development of both wealth and progeny and also all other material development and enrichment and prosperity. The third is Kali, Durga. She is the deity representing a tamas and all powerful destruction power. And destruction of what? Destruction of the evil forces, destruction of the evil minded people, destruction of the people who cause havoc to the well-being of the well-being of the good people. And that's why Kali takes that kind of activity to remove and annihilate all the bad things and all the bad people. And hence, this is the Shakti and the Shiva. As you know, Shiva and Shakti are the two forms of the Shiva is the Purusha, Shakti represents the form of energy or the Prakriti or the nature. Therefore, Shakti is the Prakriti part of the Purushottama, that is the Purusha, that is the Shiva or the Purushottama. And hence, the three deities, Kali, Lakshmi, and Saraswati, are also worshipped as Vaishno and Vaishno Devi in North India. It's a very famous pilgrimage where lakhs and lakhs of people visit. And the first day of today is attributed to the Himashaila Putri Devi. That means the daughter of Himashaila. Himashaila is the Parvataraja. Parvataraja Putri is also called Parvati, and she was in the previous Janma, she was the Sati, and she was Dakshayini. She was the daughter of Daksha Prajapati, and then she had wedded to Shiva, and she is the Adi Shakti form. And she was the Adi Shakti, but because of Daksha, a person of arrogance, Daksha means competent and also with full of arrogance. And when competency, knowledge, education results in arrogance and results in this type of the power of Daksha, although competent, he became an enemy with Shiva. And then Shiva, through Sati, he had to humiliate him, and he has to destroy him and then give him a different birth again. And therefore, Parvati was reborn, and she became later the consort of Shiva. Shiva Parvati are the people who are spreading all the Puranic messages. In all the Puranas, they'll say Shiva Parvati Samvadam. And now, this energy formation of Shakti is the one which controls everything. And there is a wonderful stotra in the Devi Bhagavata prepared by Sri Markandeya Maharishi. And Devi Bhagavata deals in a very big and long chapters of Durga Saptashati, and also Lalita Sahasranama Stotra, and also the Argala Stotram, and Trishati, and various Ashtottaram and all that. And today, we know all over the country and all over different parts of the world where Hindus are there, they're all worshipping the goddess Durga, goddess Lakshmi, and goddess Saraswati with various stotras and pujas and worship. We join in that, and a small sankalpa which is done in this regard, because although we are continuing with the Bhagavad Gita, because since we need the blessings of Durga also in all the matters of whatever progress that we do, just 1 or 2 minutes of the sankalpa that is done on this Navratri day. Shri Govinda Govinda Adya Brahmane Tritya Prarate Shvetavara Kalpe Vaivasadamanvantare Kalige Pratamapade Jambudvipe Bhartavarshe Bhartakande Meroho Dakshinadik Bhage Krishna Kaveri Madhya Pradeshe Shobhana Gృhe Samasta Devata Brahmana Sannidhav Asmin Vartamane Vyavaharika Chandramanena Shri Sharvari Nama Samvatsare Anija Ashvira Mase Dakshinayane Varsharutauh Ashvija Mase Shukla Pakshe Pratamatitu Shanivasariktam Shubhanakshatra Shubha Yoga Shubhakaranayevam Guna Vishesham Vishishtayam Shribad Bhagavad Agneya Bhagavad Kaikarya Rupaya Sriman Narayana Prityartam Shri Sai Sparshanam Mama Sai Sparshana Sarva Bhaktana Janma Vyasya Janma Prabhuti Etat Shanaparyantam Balya Yovana Kaumaruddateshu Jagrat Swapna Sushaptam Avastatu Samano Vakkaya Indriya Kaumaruddateshu Indriya Vyaparihi Rasya Prakashecha Jnanato Jnanatashe Maya Kutanam Prakasha Kutamahapatakam Mahapataka Charushtaya Vitiriktanam Prakasha Kutanam Mahapatakadi अष्टरूपानं महापातक व्रतातिदेशिक रूपादि पातकानां महापातक समरूपान् अनुपातकानाम् उपपातकानां संकलीकरणानां मलिनीकरणानाम् अपात्रीकरणानां जातिभ्रंशकरणानां मनकीर्णकानां प्रकीर्णकानां राष्ट्रकृतानां महापातकानां महापातकादि अष्टरूप महापातक वृतातिदेशिक रूपातिपातकानां महापातक समरूपानाम् अनुपातकानाम् उपपातकानां संकलीकरणानां मलिनीकरणानाम् अपात्रीकरणानां जातिभ्रंशकरणानां अवकीर्णकानाम् अज्ञानतसत्कृतानां ज्ञानतोऽभ्यस्तानं ज्ञानतसत्कृतानाम् अवकीर्णकानाम् अज्ञानत सत्कृतानां ज्ञानतोऽभ्यस्तानम् अज्ञानतो अज्ञानतश्च अत्यन्त अभ्यस्तानम् अज्ञानतो ज्ञानतश्च निरन्तरः अभ्यस्तनाम् अज्ञानतो अज्ञानतश्च चिरकाल्याभ्यस्तानं बहूनां बहुविधानं सर्वेषां पापानाम् आपनोदात्तसत्त्वप्रायश्चित्तं परपरिप्रदक्षिणपूर्वकं यथा शक्तिप्रतिम्नाय स्वीकृतं माम् उद्धारय शत्रुबाधा ग्रहबाधा अभिचारबाधा आध्यात्मिकबाधा आदिदैविक आदिभौतिक तापत्रय निवारणार्थं सद्गृहे समसकल सकल भक्तगृहे श्री महालक्ष्मी यावज्जीव काल स्थैर्यता सिद्ध्यर्थं मम सकल नवग्रह दोष परिहार्थं श्री चंडी पारायण दुर्गी पारायण फलं शीघ्र सिद्ध्यर्थं सर्वे कुटुंबस्य सर्वेषां जनानां रक्षणार्थं माम् अनुगृह्णन्तु भवन्तु अनुगृह्णन्तु। ओम श्री महाकाली महालक्ष्मी महासरस्वती देवता प्रीत्यर्थं चंडी सप्तशती पाठाख्यं कर्म करिष्ये तदंगत्वेन कवच अर्गल कीलकपठनम् आद्यांतरयो अष्टोत्तरसांख्य नवार्ण जपपूर्वकं क्रमेण रात्रि सूक्त देवी सूक्तपठनम् अन्ते रहस्य पठनम् शापोद्धारिकं च करिष्ये श्री भगवद्गीता अध्यायं करिष्ये। Sai Ram. With these shlokas of Durga Saptashati, taking the blessings of Durga Devi and Lakshmi and Saraswati on this auspicious Navratri day, we will proceed further. And last chapter, we had seen the Vishwarupa Darshana, Samdarshana Yoga, and Arjuna had a divine darshan, and also the other devotees like Bhishma, Drona, Kripacharya, and others also in the battlefield had a divya darshanam, and Sanjaya, who was also translating through the Divya Drishti given to Vedavyasa, was also telling the Dhritarashtra about the divya darshanam and Virat Rupa. After having enjoyed the divya sarupa shown by Lord Krishna, the next chapter is the Bhakti Yoga. And Bhakti Yoga is called the communion through loving devotion. Since our Sai activities, the bhajan and other activities are more towards the Bhakti, and Swami always used to say the Bhakti and the love of people, love of the people, love of the devotees, love of the mankind is the Bhakti. And communion through loving devotion. Love all, serve all. Since this is the standing message of Swami, this is the actual, the Sanmam Bhanam of the Bhagavad Gita. The impersonal and personal. Who is better yogi? Arjuna asked whether person who follows the path of devotion or the person who does lot of service and other activities as a karma yogi. Who is better, karma yogi, bhakti yogi, or even the person who always makes tapas and becomes a gnani or a gnana yoga? And therefore, this question was sought or put from Arjuna to God Krishna, and Krishna answers that see, there is what is called God as impersonal and personal. And for the devotee, God is everything. And he looks after to God as impersonal absolute. And all who worship me and adore me are praiseworthy, whether he is a bhakta, whether he is a gnani, or whether he is a karma yogi. But I am always with a person who has high devotion to me, who follows the bhakti yoga. He leaves everything else. He forgets the world, leaves his family, leaves every attachment, and then devoted only to me, devoted to worship of only me. Such a person is very close to me and who always depends on me. And whatever things you want to do, he will think of me, he will attribute it to me, and he will surrender to me, and he will dedicate it to me. And as my prasadam or blessing, he starts the work. And I am always there to lift him from all the sorrows upon the samsara. Samsara itself is full of deep sea of sorrow. Therefore, I will lift him from the samsara of all the sorrow. And only thing is that this particular person has to practice while practice wholeheartedly. Because the wholehearted devotion is called the whole-time devotee, like part-time devotee, or sometimes the roadside devotee. Because many times we go to a shopping called hop on. For hop on, hop out devotee also is blessed, but proportionately. But the person who is wholeheartedly devoted will always get the blessing in plenty. And therefore, if you want to concentrate, because many a time to do this devotion is not easy. Everybody cannot become bhakta. We can say we have bhakti. To become a bhakta, there is a lot of qualification, eligibility criteria required. And we have to use the Yoga Sutra for the concentration of mind, so that the mind does not swirl this side or that side. And we have to concentrate our mind and wholeheartedly towards God only. And it should be all the work that we do should be related to God. Abandon all the other triads of all the abandon all other triads which are there as a weakness to you, but develop only good triads. And also, whenever you do this with bhakti, whatever fruits of action, don't even depend on that. Don't even expect it. Leave all the fruits or result to God only. Therefore, you will have lot of peace of mind immediately. And who is a bhakta? And the bhakta is a sthita prajna. The bhakta does not want to even call himself a bhakta. He doesn't want a title, he doesn't want a designation. So if you say I am a bhakta, sometimes you may be wrong. Because Swami used to say, who are you to qualify yourself as Sai devotee or a Sai bhakta? I am to confer on you. Unless he confers that title on us, we are not. So Sthita Prajna is the one who is not affected by any of this. He is a friend of all, enemy of none, not affected by any vanity or pride, always cheerful, full of love, resplendent and radiating in his face always. That's why a real devotee, even Sai devotees or anybody, if they are believing in God, their face should resplendent with that, should radiate. And if they say, somebody says, see the face of somebody, they should say, oh, are you a devotee of God? Oh, are you a Sai devotee? And they should feel influenced by it, not feeling repulsed by it, by seeing their ugly or sometimes the kind of repulsive face. It should be non-repulsive face, both in looking and also in action. And for praise or insult, all the same. In the whole world, he does not bother about it. And the whole world, he treats as home. That's why it's called Vishwakutumbi or Vasudeva Kutumbakam. And therefore, entire the Vasudha, the world or the universe is his family. So this is the Bhakti Yoga, the summary of Bhakti Yoga. After that, we go to the next chapter 13, and that is called the differentiation of the known from the unknown. Therefore, here, this is called Kshetra Kshetrajna Yoga. Kshetra and Kshetrajna. Kshetra means field. Field means place. Place also means it could be a house, it could be country, it could be a state, it could be anything. Kshetrajna, the resident of that place. And here in this spiritually, Kshetra is the body of the person or the man. And the Kshetrajna is the resident in his body. It is God. That's why we always call God as the Hridaya Nivasa. Hridaya Nivasi. Always God responds best whenever he is attributed or called, saying Hridaya Nivasi, because he is resident in the heart of every one of us. The moment he leaves that and goes away, then that our whatever body will become Shava or the corpse. And therefore, as long as he is there, resident, and he is breathing through us, Soham, Soham, we are called by Shivam. And then if the breathing stops, Shivam goes away, then we become Shavam. And therefore, these two categories of what we call the seeing, who is the seer and who is the person who is seen. The seen is the field or the kshetra. The seer, whom we have to see, and who is very much within us, but who cannot be otherwise seen easily, and who has to be only experienced. And the body and the mind is the field, and the heart is the where the God resident and he stays. And Jiva is the one which lives in the environment. He is the person who is the seer. That means the Jiva sees the thing. And the person to be seen is the God. Therefore, this is the adjunct instrument through which the jiva controls all the objects. We are all called upadhi. Upadhi is, Swami used to say, you are all just but instruments of mine. That means I make you do things and it is my sankalpa. And if I have chosen you to do this job or that job and somewhere or here or wherever it is, then you are just chosen instruments of mine. If you are not there also, a lot of things will go on. Sometimes without you, it will go on better. And we think it is because of it is done. But Swami says, no, it is not because of you, despite you. Despite you, still things are going on. Therefore, we are just instruments. And therefore, there are 5 elements in this universe and the 5 objects of perception. And all of them, the seer is God only, and everything is reflections of it. They mixed up in man and leads to ignorance. And knowledge of God separates man. The absence of pride and vanity, etc., then only we can realize God. Strong aspiration for truth should be there. And unless you have got strong aspiration for truth, you cannot see God. Object to be known. It is supreme being. No words exist to describe this God and universal potency. He enfolds everything in himself, supports and manifests all the 3 gunas called the Prakriti, the originator, the ultimate consciousness. He is the generator, he is the organizer, and he is the generator, organizer, and developer. And that's why God, God, is also referred as the attribute of all the 3 gunas. And he verily resides in the heart of everyone. The 2 aspects of man, that is the spirit and the jiva. The spirit or the jiva, and the spirit identifies with the nature. Very enjoyer of senses is the body. But God does not enjoy or does not, although he is resident in the jiva, he is just a witness. He says, I am only Sakshi Bhuta. I am not either the person who is doing the sin with you or doing the punya with you. If you are doing good work, you will have punya. If you do the bad work, you will attain sins. And about these are all depending on your bodily form. You are the kshetra, and the kshetrajna has no role in that. And about he is the witness of everything. He is the one matrix. He is the spiritual sun. He is the reflector. He is the real effort and knowledge is to know the distinction between the jiva spirit, the purusha, and the nature prakriti. And jiva is fully free from nature. And God is there witness as a witness in man, but he is not responsible for any of the bad acts or the bad thinking the man comes across and does. Therefore, this is the Kshetra Kshetrajna Yoga in the summary. And next chapter is called the Gunatraya Yoga, the division according to 3 gunas. So everything that every one of us, we know, they're all classified. Many a time, whenever you come across somebody or you ask for a referral of somebody, we say, he's a good man, very good man, bad man. Therefore, we have that 3 characteristics. And sometimes poor, good, poor, very poor. Therefore, these are the distinctions. These are all the what we call guna, are the qualities. And in the Gunatraya Vibhaga Yoga, Krishna says, every person born on this earth has been born with 3 of these gunas. Nobody can say, I am only with 1 guna. All the people have got all the 3 gunas all the time. And only thing is, the dominance of some gunas will be more sometimes and sometimes less at some other time. And therefore, these 3 gunas are the sattva, rajas, and tamas. And the sattva, the sattvic guna, is the primordial and it represents God. It takes us to spiritual path and it leads us to God. The rajas is of something of a worldly development. It is required in the middle years of a man's life because he has to work, he has to earn something, and he has to live for himself. He has to earn the livelihood. And for that purpose, some intelligence, some education, some job, all these things, and the house, looking after the house, all these responsibilities are because of rajas. Rajas is not bad, provided a part of rajas time is also utilized sattvically. And the 3rd guna, or the lower quality, is called the tamas. Tamas is of ignorance. It is a kind of a wrong knowledge and always lazy, always idle, depending on somebody, not doing anything enthusiastically. And all beings are born from this one of the 3 gunas, sattva, rajas, tamas. And the sattva is the purity and happiness, and the rajas is the passion and energy, and tamas is dullness, delusion. And therefore, when we have got that mantra of this Asatoma Sadgamaya, so Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya. That means we are requesting God to lift us from the non-knowledge to knowledge, and from the darkness to the light, and also from Mrityuma Amrutangamaya. Therefore, from the mortal or mortality or death, sorrow of death, to Amrutangamaya. That means to become immortal. Om Shanti, 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 because finally we should have eternal peace and peace of mind all the time. Therefore, life is bound or dominated by these three gunas, and ramifying influence of mind it has got. And the real wise man has to transcend all these three gunas, called the Triguna Atita. If he becomes what's called Triguna Atita, that's why we have got a bhajan also, where Gunatitaya Namaha, Kalatitaya Namaha. For God is the one who is Trigunatita. He is transcending all the things. Whereas we also have to try to overcome and transcend all these three gunas. But at least first, from Rajas, at least become Sattvic. And instead of going to Tamasic, because you have got both tendencies. From the Rajasic, we can go to Tamas. But instead of downgrading ourselves to Tamas level, you go up at least to the Sattvic level and then become Trigunatita. When the sages or somebody, they will throw away all the things. None of the gunas they will get interested or attached to. Jiva becomes fit for illumination or immortal state after this. The science of this thing is, what is the science of all these gunas? Person has got Sattvic, person who has got Rajas, person who has got Tamasic guna is known by his Sthitaprajnasta Lakshana. That means not affected by any action, prize, competition, abuse, prize, debates, and any of this richness or any of the luxuries, criticisms, and ridicule. He is not affected by any of these things. This is the Gunatraya Vibhaga Yoga. Then the Purushottama Yoga is the next chapter 15. The Purushottama is Purusha Uttama. Among the men, who is the best and who is the person whom you have to follow. And mystery of the all-pervading person, the Purushottama is only God. God is the Purushottama, nobody else. We may name ourselves as Purushottama. Sometimes we name the people, maybe as Purushottama. But is he Purushottama? Means man by name cannot be a Purushottama. He has to become Purusha Uttama, and the real Purushottama is God, only God, and Swami is the only Purushottama. And therefore, it is compared here with the entire world is compared to the pipal tree, the big and mighty pipal tree, that is Ashwatha tree. The Ashwatha tree, although it is a residence for all the trinities, the Brahma Maheshwara, Brahma and Vishnu and Maheshwara, but at the same time, it is deep-rooted, a lot of branches, lot of the roots. And therefore, from the point of view of Vairagya, and you have to cut the roots of the Ashwatha tree, and you have to come out of the family of samsara. And therefore, Ashwatha tree is like a samsara. That means some kind of our worldly attachment. Even though you cut anything, it will go on again, coming up, sprouting daily. And it's something like Swami used to say, it is like what is habit. The word habit, H-A-B-I-T. Swami used to say, you leave H, then A bit remains. You remain A, then still bit remains. You remain B, it remains. That means the habit or the guna or those our weaknesses will still remain. And we have to go on doing a lot of exercise to cut this tree of samsara. And for this, we have to do what is called the changeful matter. That is called kshara. What is changing? And the akshara. Akshara is not change. Akshara is God. And Akshara Purusha is God. Above all, he is the Purushottama. Whereas we are all under the changeful kind of matter, Kshara Purusha. And God creates all bodies. And he creates both unchanging jiva. And he dwells in all bodies. But he is only a witness of consciousness and not a part of it. For somebody who says, we have done the wrong thing, God has made to do this wrong thing. He said, don't make me a partner of your crime. Don't make me a partner in your business. Don't make me a partner of your wrong deeds. I am not. I am just a witness, like a judge in a court. And in the Purushottama, is the whoever contemplates on this Purushottama Rupa will attain Purushottama only. That means the God Vishnu, Swami Sloka only, whenever he perishes from this earth. In the word perishes means when he draws his last breath, he will not perish means from the point of view of nothing wrong, nothing bad will happen to him. Whoever surrenders wholly to God will have nirvanam, nirvanam adhimachyati. And therefore, this is a summary of the Purushottama Yoga. The chapter 16 comes to the divine and dynamic types. Swami says there are two types of people, like we are seeing in our world every day. One is divine type of person, and is demonic type of person. The demonic is like demons, we say, a person who is called in the Daivi qualities and Asuri qualities, the demonic. And Swami says the divine and the diabolic type. And we are seeing every day in our daily life people of both Asuric qualities and Daivic. And among the people we see more of people with Asuric. And Asuric type of people are the people who do not want to know about God, who do not want to go to things, who always want bad company, who always do something, even if they do good things, they do it with pride, they do with kind of announcement, and they do all the good things also, if at all they do, with kind of some expectation and results. And as Daivic people, they always believe in God, and they always leave everything to God, and they do everything as a sacrifice to God, and an act of God, and act to God, and the worship to God, and all the good deeds they do. They don't keep any pride. They don't have anyone bad thoughts, and they have lot of purity, and they are generous always. People who are generous, yes, they are sattvic or Daivic quality, and they have got a lot of patience. Lot of people today, we have got impatience. That means we don't have patience. Swami used to say, if you become impatient, then you will become impatient, because there is not much difference between impatience and becoming impatient in a hospital. Nowadays, particularly in the Corona time, it is much more valid and true. And therefore, we have to shun Asuric traits. What are the Asuric traits? Anger, greed, desire. All these things should avoid. And how we can avoid? Follow Shastras, follow Puranas, follow what is said into Satsang, go to some temple, follow some wise people, follow some scholars, take their instruction, follow it. And don't become a slave of passions, and overcome all these Asuric traits, then you will become divine. You get automatic promotion. Therefore, you don't have to even apply for promotion. When you leave the Asuric qualities, God is there, present already with a promotion order, at increment, that yes, I am rewarding you. God's rewards always there, unasked, unprayed. The chapter 17 deals with the yoga of Shraddhatraya Yoga or Shraddhatraya Vibhaga Yoga. Therefore, like in Gunas, there are three qualities or the type of man as Asuric and the divine. Similarly, there are three divisions of faith. See, when we say, don't you have faith in God, don't you have faith in Swami, don't you have faith in this, we many times shoot questions. But Swami says, people have got faith. Not that they do not have faith, but faith in what? Faith in whom? Faith of how much? For we have got faith, maybe sometimes wrongly, in the wrong places, wrong people, wrong places. And therefore, Shraddha, faith means Shraddha. Shraddha means interest. Shraddha means dedication. And therefore, Shri Sai Baba also always used to say, Shraddha Saburi. Whoever has got Shraddha and Saburi, they will reach me, they can see me. So faith is very important. Again, there are three types. The person who has got Sattvic, he has got the Sattvic Shraddha. The person who has got Rajas type of Buddhi, he has got Rajasic Shraddha. And the person who has got Tamasic, he has got Tamasic Shraddha. And therefore, for Sattvic people, that's why Swami says, use this word Om Tat Sat. Whenever you do anything, add Shri and add Om Tat Sat in the end. Therefore, this is called spiritual mentality. When you are ending with the Om Tat Sat, then the entire thing goes back to God and dedicated to God. And therefore, the charity also, like whatever dhanam you do, don't do a dhanam, boasting of the dhanam. Don't publicize the dhanam. And in fact, they are told, whatever you want to lose, you announce. Whatever you want to keep or gain, you don't announce. For charity or any good acts should not be even announced. Do it without the knowledge of anybody. They used to even say, what to give with your right hand should not be known to left hand. And if it comes, now if the right hand is sometimes not able to come up Fast. Give it with your left hand also. Even left hand dhanam is okay rather than not giving. But only thing it should not be done, Ashraddaya. Homas are also three types: sattvic, rajas, tamasic. Pujas also sattvic, tamasic, and the rajas. And similarly, satsanga. Satsanga also. Sometimes just because somebody has compelled you to come and sit in the satsang, they are compelled and coming. And some people, on their own interest, they come. And some people, they got so much interest, they'll be inquiring when is going to be satsang, when is going to be next bhajan, when is going to be next temple puja. Therefore, they go on taking all the interest in them. That is the sattvic, pushing towards God all the time, whenever available. And grab all the opportunities, like we grab many other things in our daily life. For this is 17th chapter. We come to the chapter 18. This is called the Moksha Sannyasa Yoga. This is the liberation through renunciation. This is the real objective for all of us who have been part of this satsanga to go through the Bhagavad Gita and other series. What is the reason? What is the objective? Is to spend them 40 minutes time. 40 minutes time you can spend any time, anywhere, in whatever manner. But in order to gain the nearness to God and mergence to God, that is liberation through renunciation. And God says, moksha means mohakshaya. Swami used to always say, if somebody asks Swami, I want moksha, he said, are you ready for that? Have you come prepared? Then he used to say, no, Swami, I have not come prepared. I got this house, I got that problem, I got this problem. Therefore, moksha is not what you seek by your lips and mouth. It should be mohakshaya. Moksha means all your attraction, all your attachment, all your desire should vanish. Therefore, there are three gunas again. It depends on the three gunas, the sannyasa and tyaga. And if Arjuna asks, what is the difference between sannyasa and what is the difference between sannyasa and tyaga? Tyaga is one which purifies man and do all acts here in tyaga without desire of fruits or results. And it's a kind of sacrifice. You are not leaving any acts. You are doing all the actions, all the acts, but without have any desire of fruits or the results of thereof. What does it mean? Many times we go to a temple. People ask, why are you going to temple? What is going to happen? Oh, you are going for this purpose. Suppose you say, no, I have no purpose, I have no interest, I have no kind of desire. People laugh at it. Because people always attribute, if you are doing something, go to a temple or go do good thing, you have got something in mind, some vrata, some kind of expectation. Therefore, it is not tyaga. Tyaga is the one where you do everything just for your own purification and you are going to near to God and it's your path to God. Whereas sannyasa is for the higher yogis who have already got rid of everything. And for them, they can even abandon shastras, abandon Gayatri Japa, abandon even the Gayatri, the Janvara also, because they are not bound, they are not bothered about any of these things. Therefore, there is no bondage of actions. The bondage of action is only the Prakriti. The five factors which gives this, the body, eye service, senses, expression of energy, and unknown. All these things are guided by pure light of consciousness. And the absence of this causes the bondage. And we have to come out of this bondage by Sat Chit Ananda. If you have to get Sat Chit Ananda, the pure bliss, that is God, Sat Chit Ananda Rupaya. Swami is also referred as Sat Chit Ananda Swarupa. The three gunas determine the nature of the knowledge, action, and agent. And the Sattvika knowledge gives knowledge of unity in diversity. See, people want to go together. People want to bring others. They want to unite various people. That is finding knowledge of unity in diversity. That's what the Sattvic people do. Whereas the Advaita is unity, the diversity is Dvaita. And whereas for people with this, they have got difficulties in the beginning. They say, whatever I did, there is no real happiness. They have got a lot of difficulties in the beginning, a lot of calamities, a lot of even hindrances, obstacles. But in the end, they get blissful end. And that is the Sattvic. In the Rajas, there is diversity of things, but no unity. And there is attachment and result oriented. He does everything expecting a result. And he always thinks, I am the doer. That is the predominant quality. And he is greedy, he is impatient, but he is intelligent and good in beginning, but end is sorrowful. That is sometimes happiness. Because when you are very intelligent, when you are working in a big company, yes, your life is happy, life is prosperous in the beginning, but end is sorrowful. And the tamas, that's only a life of destruction, wrong knowledge, wrong actions, and it leads to delusion, depression, and vacillation. And it's a sleepy, idle type of person, and therefore insolent. He cannot become easily confident, and yeah, he cannot be consoled or given advice by others. And his beginning to end, his life will be sorrowful. Unlike to others, his beginning also is sorrowful, his end also is sorrowful. God says that it is really pitiful to become a person of tamasic nature also. So the character of persons depends on again are the four varnas called Chatur Varna, the Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Sudra, to not just by their birth. Because Swami used to say, it's just a Brahmin is not, because he is born to a Brahmin, is not a Brahmin, and he becomes a Brahmana. It is the Karma Brahmana and Dharma Brahmana. The Karma Brahmana is by action. The Dharma Brahmana is just born. Therefore, that cannot be taken for granted. Therefore, he has to go by his natural constitution and attain things. And everybody can become Brahma. And everybody can become a Kshatriya in order to administer. And everybody can become a Vaishya in order to do commerce and business. And he can become a Sudra. Sudra means not inferior. It is just doing service. The work as worship. When work is construed as worship, and then work, whatever work you do, wherever you do, people say, I am busy with my work. I am busy in my company. I am busy in meeting. Yes, I cannot come for bhajan. I cannot come for this. But even whatever work you do properly, concentratedly, that becomes worship. Work can be converted into worship, and your workplace can become a workshop, a divine workshop. And only thing is for this, worship the Supreme Being, full faith and devotion, surrender to Him fully, and do work as service to God. And even if small defects are there, God says, I will pardon that. Don't bother. Don't think and don't expect to become perfectionist. You can't become a perfectionist easily. And except God, nobody is perfect. They're all, only thing is the level and status of imperfection are different. Therefore, nothing is perfect, but go on improving, go on practicing, go on correcting yourself, and then you will achieve God. And God does not mind small mistakes here and there. Don't get deterred, don't get bothered about it. And he says, Swami says, that is like, there's always some smoke attached to fire. So fire will not become defect because of the smoke. Let there be smoke. So there's also fire, which is also helpful and can burn everything and also gives light. The higher level of bhakti will go to Nirguna Bhakti. The Saguna Bhakti to Nirguna Bhakti. Saguna Bhakti is with a form, with a name, we go on doing the Saguna Bhakti. In the beginning it is required. Later on, when you progress further, it will become Nirakara, Nirguna Bhakti. So you don't require a forum, you don't require a place, you don't require anything, you don't require an idol, then everything will become God, 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 whatever you do, whatever you see. And therefore, this is the final fulfillment. And therefore, when a person is Nirguna Bhakti, he doesn't need any procedure, no discipline, no Ashtanga Yoga, none of these are going to be required. For structural, the spiritual fulfillment will come through resignation. Resignation means I am not interested in this, leaving all the interest in everything. That is called have interest only in Swadharma. Therefore, have full faith in Swadharma, even if your other Paradharma is more virtuous, it has got more virtue, even then follow only our own Swadharma. It is always good, it gives you the better result and the better fruits. And therefore, do everything without expecting fruits and no kind of results and no kind of ill effects of it. And therefore, and also many a time we have got the habit of asking feedback. And when we ask feedback, you have to be ready for the negative feedback. But we always want a positive feedback. And therefore, don't even ask feedback. Let anybody who wants to give feedback, let them give it on their own. Don't seek anything. Don't go anywhere. Don't do anything. Don't seek anything. Everything will come to you. Everything will happen to you. Wait for it patiently with devotion to God. Therefore, Swami says, I am the turning wheel called Chakra. And I am turning the wheels of every one of your fortune. You are going to a fortune wheel. I am the fortune wheel for you. I am turning the wheel of all of you. Your entire destiny is known to me. Seek shelter in me only. Worship me alone. And make prostration to me only. And then I will wash you from all your sins of not only this Janma, of several Janmas. And this is the final conclusion by Swami Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, is to be taught only to those who are spiritually inclined. Don't teach it in the roadside. Don't teach it in the market side. And don't involve people who are not interested, who are dejected, and who are depressed, and who do not want to change. No use teaching Gita to them. Bhagavad Gita is a very sacred text. It has to be taught with purity of mind for the people who got purity of heart. And therefore, Arjuna, in the end, Sanjaya ends this Bhagavad Gita with a shloka, Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna, Yatra Partho Dhanurha, Tatra Shri, Vijayar Bhuti, Dhruva Nitir Matir Mama. Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna, wherever there is Yogeshwara, Shri Satyasai Shri Sai Krishna, and wherever there is a Krishna, the Dhanurdhari, and wherever Arjuna, the Dhanurdhari, then in that place, or even street, in that entire country, always there will be Subiksha, and there will be always the Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna, Yatra Partho Dhanurha, Tatra Shri, Vijaya, victory is always there. Vibhuti, that means his divine blessings are always there. And Nitir Matir Mama, and the good intelligence will be there. And they will be always pervaded with the presence of God. And God, Lord Krishna, He is present, omnipresent, omnipotent, and omniscient. And He is with us always. And we pray to Satyasai, Shri Sai, Lord Krishna, to protect us always. And whoever has had this privilege of listening to this Bhagavad Gita, not only here, anywhere else, because the mantra says, or the benefits of the Bhagavad Gita, it reads as wherever even this holy book is kept, let alone reading, just keep the book in your house. The Bhagavad Gita, books itself, words of all the problem, words of all these things, and it uplifts us. And if you are able to read one sloka, two sloka, even those will take you to the higher lokas. And if you are able to read it fully and with devotion, it's still good. So whatever opportunities come to us, we'll seize it, we'll take it, we'll utilize it. And let us thank Sri Sathya Sai Baba, the real God, Lord Krishna, to all of us, having made us enabled us to even have this good mind to come and sit and listen, and also proclaim that God, Lord Krishna, is resident everywhere, and all the people's welfare is always with Him. He bestows welfare, happiness, prosperity to all of us. Thank you, Sai Ram. And last, only one bhajan, we are ending this.
Sai Ram to all. Sai Pitar Mata Sai, Sai Pitar Mata Sai, Deen Dayala Data Sai, Deen Dayala Data Sai, Sai Pitar Mata Sai, Sai Guru Sai Sakha Sahodar, Sai Satya Shiva, Sai Sundar, Ved Upanishad, Gita Sai, Ved Upanishad, Gita Sai, Deen Dayala Data Sai, Deen Dayala Data Sai, Sai Pitar Mata Sai. Sai Ram to all.
Sai Ram. And I wish to close this with a kind of my gratefulness and my grateful thanks to all the members of Satsai Sai Sparshan for having given this opportunity. And I'm really feeling that I had had the glimpse of Sri Sathya Sai Baba, Lord Krishna's darshan during this kind of my involvement in this. Therefore, I fully thank for this privilege given to me. Sai Ram. Thank you.
Sai Ram.
Sai Ram. Thank you.
Sai Ram. Sai Ram.
Sai Ram. Sai Ram. Sai Ram to everyone. Happy Navaratri again. Sai Ram.
Sai Ram. Happy Navaratri. Sai Ram.
Happy Navaratri. Sai Ram. Thank you. Thank you, Praveen and Vinod and Shankaran and Rohininath, everyone. Thanks for all your cooperation and support. Thank you.
Thank you, Uncle. Sai Ram.